Hey people, it's Joe here. Today we're doing a video on the units of Squad. Now, Squad, every unit has a different that is regarding what it's made of. Typically, you'll have three. Have battle group comprised of vehicles, battle group comprised of helicopters, battle group comprised of support elements. Naval. Depends on the faction. Depends where they come from. So, let's get the Aussies out of the way. First unit we have is, let's see here, third battle group, which is the Combined Arms Group. B tier. Actually, I'm going to name them. So, B is for balance. A and S tier, or A and S tier, C and D, or C and D as our respectives. Now, being a combined arms unit actually gives that unit the best in terms of mobility, defensibility, and offensivity. If it were, say, highly focused towards tanks, that would make it highly offensive. Can't guard a base well with tanks, but you can guard it well with ATGMs and other things. Can't guard a base well with helicopters, but you can damn well guard it with tows, so... Balanced means you have all these things and more, but allows you to still be proactive in moving, but also proactive in defense. Next Australian unit is a 3rd Battalion. You might ask, what's 3rd Battalion? Just listed 3rd Brigade. Well, 3rd Battalion is the Air Assault Group. Now, the difference between these, they get a bit of a difference. That in, they have more helicopters. Don't get many tanks, if any. In fact, I don't even think they get a tank. However, to make up for this, they are a lot better at moving to a location and setting up positions of fire. Now, first thing they do is they take the helicopter and they fly over to a location, secure that location, bada bing, bada boom, they have a location. They get an additional tow missile, which allows them to much better easily engage ground targets at exit. Now, the thing is, an air assault group fighting another air assault group is actually a very hard fought battle due to the lack of ground assets that you're countering. Yes, there are some, one per, but typically, if you're fighting an air assault group, you're mainly looking up at the air, and with the AGL and ATGMs placements, you're typically knocking birds out of the sky more often than not. So, 3rd group is deep. The additional tow and AGL are nice, but they're very ammo hungry, and trying to hold the place with just one tank and the helicopters is not fun. And last but not least, the 1st Division, which is mechanized. Now, mechanized differs in that they don't get many helicopters. They only get the ones that they would normally get. They don't get additional tows, but they do get additional IFVs. IFVs are a great thing to have depending on your faction. Unless you're a faction that doesn't get good ones. Which is, since it's Australia, clearly you're not getting the good one. Problem with being mechanized is you can move up units safely, and you have an additional 2 autocannon. Downside. The IFVs you get as the Oz, as every nation except America and Russia kind of suck. Because they don't get... Actually, I think China has ones that have a tank gun, but the point stands. You're not doing too well. Now, you could say, for instance, you know, third brigade battle group is technically better because it has multiple, you know, bits of it. But the main issue for the Aussies is their vehicles are weak, and their units that revolve around those vehicles kinda are garbage. Let's move over to the irregular. See what we got here for the irregular. Alright, moving that aside. It's not saying C tier, it's the irregular armored squadron. Now, there's a difference between normal armored and the irregular armored. The irregulars get slightly older tanks, but they get more tanks. Oh, they get 3 T-62s. They also get the drone and whatnot. Who cares? Anyways, the power of a tank is fucking oppressive. They also get a BM-21, which is, yet again, as an offense or defensive, that's oppressive. And it's crazy to think that a lot of people like to underestimate the power of a BM-21 missile launcher system. Now, I know I said before that having tanks at a defensive posture is not typically what you want to be doing with them, as you could be either A, sniping out enemy armor, or B, using your armor as sort of a spearhead to attack. But you can use them defensively in most cases in urban environments. As in an urban environment, you can have infantry swarming around the city on your own side, fighting off the infantry that's trying to get in. But then again, it's best not to keep tanks too defensive. Keep them as QRF. If you notice tanks are trying to cross one side, just move over to that one side. Bada bing, bada boom. Move on to the next irregular armor unit. Irregular. I'm trying to find them. Kind of hard to find irregulars. Why the fuck do they hide themselves so well? I know Ken. Let's go with the Canadian 3rd Battalion, Royal Canadian Regiment, RCR. Yep. They are air assault. Which means I go here. Now, why am I putting them here instead of somewhere? Actually, hold on. Looking at their listings. Nope, they're actually. Hold on. Need to make another row below. Utterly awful. Boom. All right. So why are the Canadians stuck now at the new utterly awful tier? Simple. They don't have anything to make up for that. Problem is, they write off the Griffin. Griffin has about the same amount of space as a Huey, but a little less, like guys less if I recall correctly. Anyway, that's not my main problem. Their main problem is the fact that the Canadian gear just in general sucks. Don't get designated marksmen, they don't get good vehicles to use, they don't get much of anything that's actually good. And what's worse is they exchange the LAV for the TAP V. And if you have any knowledge, the LAV is still better than a TAP V. In fact, the TAP V is awful. IRL problems with the TAP V are one thing aside, but the problem with the TAP V is it has low crew amount. You can't have as many people inside of it. you have not as many, and the gun on it is a 50 cal, if that. Usually, it's mounted with a 7.62. The problem is that it's one of them that you'll be able to use. So yeah, not the greatest. What else? We can pull fun on the Canadian. Ooh, let's actually do the 1st Combat Brigade, the 82nd Airborne. They're obviously air assault. However, the difference here is they have better vehicles overall. Now, the Americans like to use the Humvee. Humvee has a good amount of people slots, and they even come with the Crows. Now you get 5 Humvee, 2 M240s, 2 M250 cals, and 1 M2 Crow system. Means you're losing a slot, but that one slot that you lost is occupied by a guy now using a gun. Still get the additional hat, AGLs and ATGMs, all that good shit. You're also given a Blackhawks. 60Ms. Great things to have. Good amount of people that can fit in them, good amount of cargo space, they do their job well, and they work like a charm. However, that does not save them from the C tier. Remember, the qualifications for getting into balanced tier was you have to have good complements. You can't just be super focused on one goal. You have to be able to specialize in everything while also not compromising on much of anything. Otherwise, you're kind of fucked. Now, let's go with another Canadian unit, the CCSB. CCSB, putting here because unlike the aircraft unit, these guys have a LAV. 3, in fact. Now, why does that make them automatically better than these guys who have helicopters out the wazoo? Simple. They have helicopters too, these support units. Now, you might be going, Joe, who the fuck cares? Well, the additional thing is that you get enemy intel, but I don't think many people know how to use enemy intel. But the problem is, this unit is actually, now that I think about it, they're going to go into balance. They have a wide diversity of vehicles that they can pull from, whether it just be RG, transports, and others. They also have a good amount of vehicles that can deal some pain. They're not stuck like the air assault unit with ass tier vehicles. Now remember, I'm ranking these units on their viability in scenarios, which means these guys may have good equipment in the Aussie tier, but they have terrible deployment opportunities for that equipment. Whereas the Canadians have terrible equipment, but great support opportunity. So you have to think, which unit is seeing the better option here? Move on to the next guy. If I recall, I swear, I swear I forgot. Oh god, that's actually. Where is Wait, green coal? Alright. Because, as I recall, for some reason. Yeah. Alright. Let's go with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, which is a combined arms unit. Well, these guys are actually going to be the first A tier. They put them higher, but they have some things holding it back. thing about the Marines is their specialty is amphibious assault. No matter what they are doing, they're always supposed to be either assaulting or defending a spot. The good thing that is, they have the kit to make it work. Now, what kit do they have that makes everything work? Simple, they get labs. Labs are by far the most linchpin in any operation. They can go across water. And they have AAVPs, which are amphibious assault vehicles, which can carry a lot of guys moving across the water. They use that, they get ashore, then, well, bing, bang, boom, you've basically wiped out the enemy. The advantage with the Marines is they can go across water, which, while it takes longer, it's also a way more stealthy approach to most situations than air, because air, extremely loud, extremely visible, sea, loud, but still somewhat quiet, and land is the quietest alternative, if you know what you're doing. Makes them the first A tier. Oh, how I'm proud to see the first A tiers run. Truly. Oh, truly. I wish they didn't. Now, the main problem for me is there's a lot of Chinese factions, because we have to make it so China sends us more money. That's not me trying to poke fun at them. That's genuinely just them trying to milk that Chinese cash cow. Alright, let's go with Second Marine Logistics Group. Now, unlike the Canadians, who have a wide variety of things to choose from, for both offensive and defensive, these guys actually kind of suck. They just don't get as much. The main linchpin here for these guys is the fact that they're not given as many vehicles that are good. Get LAV, regular LAV 25, and that's it. They get the AAVs as well, but still. Their support group is ass. In fact, it's one of the worst support groups I've seen so far, but that's not saying much. Next is the light infantry for the Marines. Now, these guys are scary. They might be asking, how are they scary? What's so scary about them? What can they do that nobody else can so far do? Simple. They get Humvees with fucking tow missiles. The Canadians don't get Humvees and tow missiles. Nobody gets Humvees and tow missiles except the Russians. But the difference is, the Humvee is fast. BTR is slow. So, main advantage that comes from being in this vehicle is you got speed. You got speed, son. Lots of speed. As most of the things you have are speed. Especially the fact that you get 9 quad bikes, depending. It makes it very, very good. Alright, let's talk about the third light armored recon vehicle. These are motorized and, well, they're pretty much balanced. Play them right, they're pretty good. Play them wrong, they're okay. And remember, they're motorized, not mechanized. Big difference. Big, big difference. Now, the 1st Tank Battalion. This is where some things come out that are different. Because these guys are a tank unit, They get a fucking extra tank. That's it. That's their whole gimmick. And unlike other units, having that extra tank is actually kind of a detriment. It's good for getting rid of enemy vehicles, but if you're facing, say, an armored hunter unit, like a light infantry, your tanks are fucking useless because the enemy can just right behind you, blow you up, and leave. Let's move on to the irregulars. Let's go with the fire support group. This one actually is super fucking scary to fight against. Come on. A tier. Now, most of the time, people that pick the fire support group are doing it because they're on the defensive. That is scary. Of a super good advantage of lots of technicals, lots of defensive emplacements, and they still get to keep their tank. Downside is tank takes a while to get, but still get a lot. In fact, having 2 Hellcans per base is still just ungodly and unfathomable, because you can do a lot of damage with 1 Hell Cannon, but 2, dear Christ. Next up is the motorized unit. Motorized, again, S tier. It's above the American Marines. Now, the danger that comes from that technicals is, quite honestly, the fact that they exist. But it's also the fact that they get more APCs. APCs are something that the insurgents typically don't get many of. In fact, it's kind of a rarity to see them with them. So, them getting more of the APCs means they have more armor they can use to fight infantry with. And next up is the mechanized platoon. Mechanized were never that good to begin with. Here, let me summarize. The reason why their mechanized isn't that good is because it's not good to begin with. It's all hodgepodge. Get their 2 T-62s, but they get an additional thing which has a ZU on it. The MTLB. The MTLB ZU-23 is basically the BTR with a ZU. It's an anti-aircraft gun that's purpose to shoot at infantry. Downside, the ZU is super easy to shoot out because, yet again, no armor plating or anything on it to stop them from killing you. Your main problem just with MTLB in general, that while there's an advantage of it being low to the ground, it's slow. And if you hit water, it's even. Let's go to the irregular light infantry. Oh boy. Do I have words to say about the irregular light infantry? Did you know they have lots of vehicles? But yeah, they have lots of vehicles that are, you know, designed to do things that are important. Upside, they also have more motorbikes. Now, motorbikes are something you don't expect to be extremely useful. Let me tell you. Nay, nay! They are very useful. So they get these motorbikes. They get a guy on that motorbike drives away somewhere. That motorbike now has free reign of the battlefield and can just, say, roll up to an artillery post. Throw a bomb down if, say, the artillerymen aren't there at the moment and they're going on a resupply run. Or if there is, like, 1 or 2 there doing, you know, the shelling and one guy's gone for resupply. Yeah, they can just shoot them and blow up the guns with their bombs and then get back on the bike and fuck off. Yeah, they're dummy oppressive. Now, that is impressive, but what's most impressive is the fact they have 3 Hornet Technical. 3 armored trucks. Not armored, but 3 trucks with a tow missile in the back. That is extremely dangerous for anybody. Anyway, next battle group, C tier. Their downside is they don't get a helicopter. They get everything else that every other nation has for their stuff, but they lose out on a tank and they only have, you know, vehicles, no helicopters. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's all the irregulars. Yep. All the irregulars. The armored squadron. Anyway. Now let's go with the irregular. There's different irregular groups. Regular. First off, irregular light infantry. You love them, you love them, you hate them. Yet again. Second verse, same as the first. These guys are basically the insurgents, but they don't get hell cannon. They're stuck with normal stuff. They do get the Zis 3, but even then, that's not still good. Just serviceable. So, you know, live and let live. Regular motorized. Honestly. They're not the worst out of everybody. They'll get their Hornet Technical. No. They're still doing something. But yeah, that's the downside of them. Next is the fire support group. The fire support group is good, but not good. Is the way I want to put them. They don't get much additional. They get an additional BM21 abs, but that's actually not good. They don't get as many good things as other nations. They don't. In fact, they even lose out on their Cornet truck to make up for with the BM21, which, while it is nice to have rocket artillery, it also kind of blows. It's very ammo heavy, and you need to move it into position, and once it starts firing, it's loud, it's obnoxious, and everybody can see where you fired it. So, not that good. But if you told me to, like, get in one of those damn things, I would tell you no. Mechanized, yet again, like, there's some units in them that are good, and there are some that just suck. They suck. They suck the fun out of it. I think we got them all, Chief. That's the main battle group. Here, do you think the main battle group would be here? But oh well. So, next up is 2nd Battalion Parachute Regiment for the British. Yet again, I don't like it. People start saying, well, helicopter good because I can fly behind line good. Certain factions do this better than others. Other factions suck. The British especially suck. They get a Centurion at least, but not a Centurion. Challenger. that old fucker. Anyways, yeah, not that good. I'll start condensing some of these because I'm getting tired. Queen's Royal Hussars. They're okay. They're the armored unit. The fact that they don't overly rely on helicopters now means they're actually not the worst. Not good, but they're not the worst. Their vehicles are okay. Troops are okay. Tanks are okay. Everything's just okay for the... Not the greatest, not the worst. You can make it work if you know what you're doing. You know, bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle. Number 1, York's battle group is supposed to be next. Yet again, IFVs are nice. And unlike the other factions, having the IFVs means you technically are doing better. Because now you're, you know, not being stuck out in the open all the time, which is good. You don't want to be caught out in the open. Next is the support unit. D tier yet again. Now, it's D tier because its offensive capabilities are so terrible that you're very much not wanting to do anything with the support unit in terms of fighting offensively. In fact, it's so bad that sometimes you may even consider why you're even doing anything as support. Offense, but defense is even worse, so take it with a grain of salt. At least you're not doing support defense, which you lose a tow missile. Why do you lose a tow missile if you're on defense with these guys? It makes no sense. Next, we have... Where is a Strathcona's? Where the Strath? Oh, I think I did all the Canadian. Ooh. I think I might have, though I don't recall. Oh, there's the Royals 22nd Regiment. So, R22 ER. They were basically, you know, they're mechanized. They're mechanized. That's it. That's all they do. Mechanized with Canadian armor. They get the lavs and they get 2 TAP Vs, which means they're not actually the worst off. So, you know, they have that going. Mechanized, it's actually the balanced unit, but because they get what they get, I'm actually going to throw them in balanced tier. Alrighty. Oh, there's the Lord Strathcona's Horse Regiment. And again, it's an armored unit, but because they double down on the fact that they're armored, it makes up now because the helicopters don't exist. Allow the Canadians to more play into their equipment strong suit, which is not sticking around and actually moving from place to place. Their units suck at the holding locations just because for some reason they all feel heavy and clunky. So having vehicles that can quickly move units from place to place makes them quite nice. Especially when you need to capture multiple locations fast. They do that extremely proficiently. Anyway, that was Canada. Now we have the Americans. We're going to be finishing them off. Let's go with the 1st Brigade, 10th Mountain Division. They are the light infantry. We said, we've already talked so many times about light infantry before. The only difference now is, you know, they're better. I might say, wait a minute, that's 2 American light tank teams up there. Yeah, well, there's a light infantry team and then 2 insurgency. Not everybody's a perfect winner. Let's see, where is another one of those pesky? There they are. Riker Combat Group. Ugh. Let me tell you about the Striker. It's good. I was gonna have bad things to say about that thing. No, it's actually kind of nice to have. So, the difference between the Striker unit and normal units, actually, let's put this baby up one, is you have the cannon from an Abrams with the mobility of a Lav. Downside, you also have the armor of a Lav, so you know you're not taking many hits. But now you're a fierce demon on the battlefield with a big gun. You're not going to be taking many hits, but you're going to be dealing the most damage. Right up there with a tank. So, you know, A for effort. Alright. Next on the chopping block is... Let's see. Oh well, let's do the 1st Infantry. They're combined arms. And it's America. So, you know. A tier. They just get good equipment is all. In fact, they get such good equipment, they even get a fucking Bradley. Bradleys are, you know, they're a little OP. They have the troop carrying capabilities of a Lav, they have the gun of a Lav, but they also have tow missiles. Tow missiles basically are the great equalizer of fights. Oh man, I think that was the combined group right here. Oh well. Combined of regulars go here anyway. Huh. Iron. Ah. Cut it out. Alright, let's go next to the Middle Eastern unit. Oh! Those are all super easy to find. Doot. Oh, and Doot. Now, the reason why all the Middle Easterns go together is because they actually kind of all suck in their own way. The main problem is their infantry just sucks altogether for each of these units. To such an extent, I'd say, that for them to hold any piece of clay is a fucking miracle. That battle rifle is good at longer ranges, but if you're thinking of putting the thing off of semi-auto, say goodbye to your accuracy. You ain't hitting jack and shit. It's sad to say, but also not inaccurate. Alright. Up with that, let's talk about the Turks. Which also is kind of funny to talk about. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold any punches. They suck. They're not the greatest. Problem is they use old vehicles. Old vehicles means different problems. Now you might say, well, how is that a problem? Old vehicles means, you know, what they're doing with them, right? No. No. And this is the air assault unit, which is funny. But anyways, I digress. Oh yeah, these guys also get Blackhawks. Don't know why they just couldn't. Next up is the armored unit for these guys. I mean, you're getting M60Ts. You're getting what you pay for. Sadly, what you're paying for is garbage. Especially with the ACVs. Those things suck. They're just big. They're too big for what you get. Oh. That's cancer. Okay, they go here. I'll put them here as a kindness and everybody, but you know they're not the great. Okay, what the fuck is that? Yeah, my lord, why do they have so many M11-3s? Okay, go down there with the rest of them. What you've done, Mechanized Brigade. Next is the actually cool looking badge. The motorized. If you think that would have saved them from, you know, the death. Oh. Nothing will save. Fuckers suck. Stuck in something fierce. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot to British or whatever. They go up here. They can go bounced. All because it fucked up. Yeah, let's get the Russians out. I need to make an example. Alright. Talk about first this Guards Mountain Air. They're amphibious assault. Why the fuck does a goddamn VDV unit have amphibious vehicles? So, for that case, they are utterly awful. This problem with the Russian armored, like, water amphibious vehicles is they go from, hey, we're going 30 miles an hour on land to, I'm going a mile an hour tops in this water. So trust when I say you don't want to be in a goddamn tank in the water. Next is air assault, which is what they're supposed to be doing, and not, you know, faffing about in the fucking ground. They're good until they get bogged down. Until they hit that bogging of down, they actually can do their job pretty fast and quick and easy. But if they ever get bogged down, they are utterly fucking useless. 104 tank, you're fucking an air assault division. Using tanks is kind of weird because everybody else has better tanks. Well, better tanks to use against you. Unless the other guys also somehow picked, you know, air assault, in which case they expected an air assault battle and you went with a tank unit that doesn't even get a tank for the first half of the match. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but hey, I mean, do something. Next is 7th Guards Air Assault. Wait a minute. Oh. There's a boat one and a non-boat one. Well, you can go back out. You've redeemed yourself for now. You get to go here now because you have tanks that don't go in the water and drown horribly. Alright. 150 is support division. Are they? Oh, fuck. 108. Mechanized. Second verse, same as the first verse. They are okay. They're okay. They're okay. 10-minute delay, though, in the first helicopter. So. Womp womp. Alright. We bottomed out in terms of... Ah, there it is, the 150th. The 150th is, in fact, pretty good. The fact is, though, they have a 10-minute delay in their first helicopters, but they get additional defenses, so, you know, they can do their job better than most. They can defend an outpost better than most. We'll say. Alright. I have finally hit the Russian normalcy. Russian normal forces are something that actually are not the worst. And they're not about to get panhandled at the end of the video like I'm about to do to another one. Anyway. Oh, that light unit. Okay. So, unlike every other unit that has more armor hunters and light vehicles, you guys don't seem to get that much. In fact, they kind of get the shaft. Anyway, the next unit, I guess. Damn. Armored tank unit. Alright. No bite. They're okay. And SU-25 for air support, so that's not the worst. Then you get a T-90A and T-72B3. So, you know. Ooh. Now we get to talk about a unit that sucks something fucking fierce. It's the Amphibious Assault Unit. I hate the Russian Amphibious Assault Units because they're so fucking slow. They're so slow, some of them, that I want to die if I ever, like, touch one. Nope. Don't actually ever use them. Suck. Seriously. Like, I would say they suck so bad that I would rather, you know, let the enemy steamroll a game before I get in one. Alright. Combined arms for Russians is balanced. Not great, they're not bad, but they are good. Good at, like, their jobs that is taking and holding. But if they have to fight a specialized unit, they kind of crumble in most cases. Especially against anybody in S tier. S tiers will generally fucking trunce any of the balance guys. C tier. Some of the C tier units can actually put up a good fight against the S tiers. A tiers typically have better odds against the S tiers as well, but S tiers will usually come out in most cases against everybody else. Which is sad. True. Times punches. Huh. 78 Detached Logistics Brigade. Well, not terrible. Get to hold the objectives pretty well. That's all I could say about him, really. I was trying to think of something good to say about him, but Jesus Christ, I was just thinking. Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, I got nothing. Alright. Any more units that belong to our enemies, the Russians? I had to quickly, like, stop myself and say, like, the enemy. Alright. Oh, I mean, we had the United States Army, which... I think I forgot what... No, I didn't. USMC. I had to have forgotten one. But, yeah, I did. I forgot the 4th amphibious. Okay. Guys, they like to play into the fact that they're amphibious, which means they get way more amphibious vehicles. Which is good because, you know, a lot more chances of flanking unless you pick them in a fucking desert. Be that guy. Alright. Now. Hold on. Alright. Okay. These guys are going to be China. I'm putting them all here for good reason. Chinese units suffer from what I love to call help. Oh wait, that's Russian. I knew I was forgetting one of them. Anyway, that unit was good. It has nice balancing. Anyway, so why are all these Chinese units going into this one spot? Simply put, they all suck. They all suck. They all are terrible. Every single one of them is awful. The one advantage the Chinese get is this motorized vehicle, mechanized, sorry, that just floats. It floats and shoots tank shells at people, which is great for shore bombardment, but the second it gets on shore, it will turn into a Chernobyl incident. It explodes instantly. The damn thing sucks. Now you might be saying, why does it suck? Simple. Because it does. It has no armor. Their air units suck even worse because they're stuck in the MIs, and the MIs, dear God, don't get me started with the MI8s. They get shot down left, right, center, and back and front, to and fro. They get blown the fuck up. Or they're stuck in a Z8. And dear God, that's even worse than an MI8 because it's just as fucking big. It's terrible. Their infantry is just downright terrible too. The weapons are not that great. The diversity of weapons is awful. Most of the time, you'll be stuck using the same variant of fucking bullpup. Don't get me started on the fact that your vehicles are all mainly BTR'd in nature. Like, every trailer for the lead up to the Chinese trailer thing was just, that would normally never work. Because they'd get shot down. Or they'd get blown up in the water. What happens? The exact fucking thing I thought was gonna happen. They get blown up, destroyed, or even just sunk before they even get to the first objective. Hell. You wanna know who fucking can trust most of these Chinese? The Canadians. In their entirety, can actually beat back every unit of the Chinese arsenal almost without fail. Which is hilarious. In fact, almost every unit in here can do it. Except the amphibious assault unit for the Russian Air Force, but they're terrible to begin. But every other unit will fucking just trunce the Chinese. Even if the Chinese get off to a good start and get like 3 of the 5 flags, they'll end up going back down to 1 flag left for them because they can't hold anything. Their equipment just isn't built to last against an attack. They have good speed and momentum, but they're just not the greatest at holding something. Anyway, this has been my video talking about each faction and their units, and the fact that each unit has its ups and downs, its left and rights, to and froms. If you think I made a mistake, throw it in the comments, and maybe if I ever want to revisit this, I'll readjust this list. But so far, this is what you get. This is what I like. I'm going to stop talking because my head is pounding. Hope you all have a good day and a good tomorrow. Otherwise, bye!